And when y'all say we move on, like y'all keep thinking that because we're moving on, that we're having sex, that we have moved on. No. We still have needs. And we know that with y'all got to go through the whole, not all y'all. And I don't want to, be presumptuous and speak for every woman, but some women go through the whole emotional roller coaster. And so they'll do the emotional eating. They'll do the crying to the girlfriends. They'll do the boyfriend bashing. For the really psychotic ones, they'll, key a car, flat a tire. And then if you've seen the videos on social media, they'll actually try to blow up a Jeep and then, go to jail for it.
Oh, yeah.
Right. So, it's, can you say psychotic bitch? Yes, we can say psychotic bitch.
But some of us have been in that position and just don't tell the truth about it either.
Right. Well, I mean, but guys just go about it the other way. Like, but you do got some guys that act straight just like that. They're going to emo eat. They're going to be like, they're going to want to fight. They're going to be, they're going to call you. They're going to blow up. So we got to stop painting that picture that guys, we're so manly.
Welcome to the Love Is Podcast with your host, that thorny chick, Karen KK Rose, and her co-host, the lovable a-hole, that's right, I said lovable, Mr. DK Walker, where they will be discussing love, relationships, family, life, sex, self-help, and what it takes to be a successful entrepreneur. Why? Because love is everything, and everything should be loved. Now to today's podcast.
Hello, everyone. It's your girls, that thorny chick, Karen KK Rose, alongside my co-host, the lovable asshole, DK Walker. DK, say good morning. Say hello.
Which one is it? Am I saying good morning or am I saying hello?
Oh.
I mean, good morning, low.
Good
low morning. Get low. Like,
okay,
clearly
you were listening to trap music again.
That's not even trap. I don't know what that shit was. To the windows, to the wall. Ski. God damn it. Ski.
See, this is what happens when you got too much caffeine the first thing in the morning.
No. This is what happens when you got your doggone your sugar disguised as coffee. I'm drinking a cup of sugar.
Listen, my mom was talking about I'm drinking creamer.
Is that good?
Oh my God. All right. So this is a little plug for whomever. So,
Stop. You can't be plugging nobody.
I didn't say who it was.
No. Because you said it's a plug. First of all, when you plug somebody, got to be consent, right? You just can't be going around plugging people without consent. That's assault.
I was trying to plug. They might like it though.
Okay, I'm moving right along. It's too early in the morning time to go down that rabbit hole. Yeah.
So you know me, I always have creamer at my house, but it's always like multiple creamers. So I don't even know how I was paying attention to this the other day, but as we're progressing into the holidays, kind of quick, everybody's marketing themselves in a certain way. So certain creamer lines are coming out with their seasonal ones. I am anti-pumpkin spice. I'm anti-pumpkin anyway. I don't like pumpkin. I don't like pumpkin pie. I don't like pumpkin spice. I don't want none of it. Not in my direction. So I knew the pumpkin spice shit was coming out. So I'm like, whatever. But there's like cookies and cocoa. There's peppermint mocha, rah. So one creamer line in particular has come out with the Elf as the Christmas movie line of coffee creamers. And one is called Caramel Waffle Cone.
What? Yes. To die for?
Oh my God. Let me tell you how obsessed I was. So it is hard, like where I live, because yes, I live in Ohio, and everybody's like, oh, you should have. No, you really would be surprised about what we don't have. So I could not. So, again, I said since COVID started, I've been doing click listing. So I'm trying to click list it, can't find it. So I literally sent out a mass text to my parents, to the parentals, to my daughter. I'm like, listen, I don't ask for much in this life, but if y'all could keep an eye out for this creamer, I'd highly appreciate it. I have gone to Walmart, I have gone to Kroger, and I have gone to Target, and we have come up short. And the kid is about to flip out. Because I've tried some other ones, and they weren't good. So I'm just like, I don't know why exactly. Like it called to me, but it did. Well, you ask, and thine shall receive. My daughter bought 2. My best friend bought 1. My parents bought 2, and their 2 are in their freezer at their house because they're on vacation right now.
Cool.
So As soon as I got that first one, and I got that, like, I literally drove to my best friend's house before I went to work with the creamer, like, in the coffee, in the cup holder, like, holding on to it. Like, it was, like, literally the holy grail. And when I got to work, I was, like, unscrewing my coffee cup on top of my hood of my car, and I, like, pouring it in. And I really kind of wasn't paying that much attention. I felt like I originally had put, like, too much in, but it ended up just being, that's just how it tastes. And it's really, really good. So I'm very happy with my 5 bottles of sugar on the wall.
Wow. The way you described that, I mean, 'cause I could hear the passion, I could hear the excitement, and then you built that story so beautifully, right? It took me back. I've never done it, but you put me in the place of, crackhead. If a crackhead was described how they high was, I promise you, it would sound like you geeking. With that shit, you just look, y'all. I don't, and then you started off guilt tripping people, right?
You
was like,
really make me go upside your head.
What are you talking about?
Because the listeners, this is how the listeners approach me. Like, people meet me now that are listening to the podcast in my city, and they're like, Karen, you do stand up to people. I was like, how you know? You don't live with me. You don't know. But because my approaches to certain things are managed. They be like, DK's right. You do stand up to me. I was like, how dare you quote him to me? How dare you? Now you're gonna have people thinking I'm a crackhead, and I'm way too chunky. I'm way too much on the
Stop. There is fat. Look, there's fat crackheads. Don't do that. Don't. There's.
See, I don't know this life. Listen, come on, South.
With an F.
Right, with an F.
Yes. People think, you automatically going to be toothless and just, skinny and smelling like, sauteed garbage when you become, that too. Right, no. Sometimes you have functioning drug addicts, and I'm not jumping off into the crackhead bandwagon. It's just the way you described it. It was like, if a crackhead was in their right mind, they would describe crack the way you describe the creamer. That's the only thing I'm saying. So you got really offended, like I hit a nerve or something, like, and far as you standing up to pee, like, I mean, that's a great skill. You should start an OnlyFans page, showcasing that skill.
No, we're not getting an OnlyFans page. I'm sorry.
We're not?
I'm not. You can.
For what? I don't know. People are into hairy 50-year-olds. I'm not sure if they are.
You don't know. I mean, they might. I mean, there's girls on OnlyFans for feet. I mean, everybody got a kink. We all know. Everybody got to let their freak flag fly some kind of way. So, hey, you never know what somebody into. And you never know who you'll meet.
Oh, shit. There's no need for me to meet anybody. You know what I mean?
I mean more like Vanessa.
Yeah,
Or you could be harassed like I was yesterday with your favorite.
What's that?
Meg the Stallion.
There you go. You so disrespectful.
I know. That's what he said too. He was like, I'm with DK. You don't say right. I said, you called me 9 times on Psycho Dad.
So first of all, who called you? It's
one of my friends. No. It's one of my friends. Like, we are definitely cool. But I was busy yesterday, obviously between work and just catching up on, little things, running errands, rah. So he kept calling, and I'm like, and we kept missing each other. So when I called him back, and he finally was sitting down, and I was too. He's like, DK, right? You disrespectful. I said, when did you start when did y'all really jump on the DK bandwagon? Like, y'all just didn't do this before. Now all of a sudden, you're the gospel. And he was like, you don't say it right. And he literally verbatim, like, whispered it into the phone. I sat there and hollered for about 15 minutes over that because he kept saying it over and over again. And I'm like, where are your kids? Like, I need your girls to come beat you up, because I'm like, y'all not going to call me in the middle of the day to harass me about DK's, like, celeb crush. You're not going to do that with me. I'm not going to have y'all call me in the phone talking about Meg the Stallion. No, what we not doing. What we not doing? No, I'm sorry. I apologize for people who thinking that you stand to pee. I apologize for people whispering, and back in the day that would be considered to be an obscenity. That real creepish. But just paying homage. You got to pay homage. What's the new saying? You got to give people their roses while they're alive. That's what it is, right? Mm-hmm. And so me and men and some women, we understand that we need to give that beautiful, fine specimen her roses while she's still alive. It's only right. I like how all, like, the girl 6 bass jumped in your voice. like real sex operator-ish.
I mean, because I'm sitting here, I'm strongly contemplating starting an OnlyFans page. There what you talking about?
See, all I had to do was throw Meg in, and then it became a real conversation.
I'm just, I'm contemplating how I'm going. I'm like, okay, so what I got that can sell something, So I'm gonna work on it. I'm gonna get back to y'all.
Say it, but say her name correctly, because clearly I'm not because it's not natural, because it's forced. That's why I didn't say it. Like, you got like all the stuff I say, all the wild, as my man would say, all the wild cowboy shit that come up. I don't want to rehearse it. It's the moment. Right? That's all it is, the moment. So, it is what it is. But bigger than all of that, bring me up to speed quickly with you, young lady. I'm actually going to flip it, because...
No, you're not. You ain't going to flip.
How?
You're flipping nothing over here. I'm securing mine. You're not flipping. I'm not laying on my stomach.
Thing down, flipping and reversed it.
Did you just quote Missy?
I sure did. Listen, you can't. We cannot go down this road. We cannot, because we'll be on here singing all day. But I'm going to flip it. I'm going to do my favorite part, because what I'm kind of like, my update kind of has to go into the show. It kind of makes more sense if I do it the other way.
What? Say again?
Huh?
What'd you say?
I said the update is more towards the show. It will make more sense if I do it the other way. Just roll with it.
So you're going to do WTF first, and then the update of your life.
Yeah.
Jesus, like
Chemo no juice. You want to do yours now?
Okay, bring in. Yeah, I'm fine. Family's fine. God loves me. Satan's mad. That's my life. Okay. What's going on?
Won't he do it? You're busy, booked, and blessed. Won't God do it?
I mean, he's never stopped doing it. You know what I mean?
True. That's true.
Since I was a twinkle in my father's eye and a tear in my mother's. Anyway.
I'm going to send him that clip just right there. I'm like, listen, your son finally has admitted his part in life.
Yeah. I mean, I have brought a lot of joy and pain. Yeah. So anyway, that's what's going to be nothing major.
All right. So in What the Fuck News, of course, my favorite part of the show.
Because you ratchet.
I beat it in all my red man voice. Okay, so here's an interesting story. So, we're in the middle of COVID right now. So everybody, is adjusting to their new normal.
Stop. Because that's your whole thing. You always holler, we're in the middle of COVID. So how do you know we're in the middle of COVID? Can't we be...
can you go outside without a mask?
No, you're missing the point. I pray that we're towards the end of COVID, right? I pray that, we're on the outskirts of COVID, right? I'm fucking sick of COVID and all the bullshit that COVID has brung, with his uninvited ass. That's just my 2 cents, so.
All right, Alanis Morissette, uninvited. But my thing is this, we're about to go into cold and flu season. So if you have not gotten your flu shot, please go do so. I've gotten mine. Do you want me to tell them where I got a DK?
But of course, because somebody's want to kiss your boo-boo after you tell them.
So yeah, it's been offered. All right, so flu shots are out. My parents, no, my dad's gotten his. My mom has not gotten hers because her doctor's appointment's coming up here pretty soon. I had to go through there. I feel like the parent more so now than I do the child, because I had to make sure, they get their pneumonia shots and their shingles and flu shots. So my dad already got a flu shot because he's uber. Don is uber, in the words of DK, is uber paranoid about COVID. I've never seen him with so much hand sanitizer in my life. I was like, I think this is the cleanest I've ever seen him. And my dad's very OCD about his appearance and all this kind of like body odor and all that. So, but this is really funny for him. So I decided when I went to work the other day, I was like, oh, I'm going to get my flu shot. Well, I had said it and never gotten around to it because we've just been super busy. But there's a rumor going around the ER that instead of giving it in your arm, there was a new place that you could get it. Well, I opted for the new option. So, ladies and gentlemen, listeners of the Love Is podcast, yours truly went to work, decided that the nurse that I liked was there. And I said, hey, can you give me my flu shot? She said, sure. So go back. I fill out my forms. I go into the room. I shut the curtain. I wear shorts underneath my scrubs. So I undo my scrubs. I drop my shorts. I bend over the examination table. And yep, I took it right in the left butt cheek.
Okay, so why did you opt to take it in the left butt cheek? Is taking it in the arm?
It was closer to her at the time.
I got not a problem, So I'm just gonna leave all that alone. I'm be really politically correct. So getting the flu shot in your arm is no longer an option. Is it more effective if shot in your ass? So why did you want something in your ass? Is the question. That's I'm not. Did
the
you?
thing of it is, I hate getting it in my arm. Because your arm
I'm
is sore, you
confused.
can't. What?
Right. Because you said that you're not a big fan of anal, right? And I know they ain't
That
put
wasn't the
flu.
hole though.
Can I finish? I know they ain't put the needle in your asshole,
Right.
but you would just think that like the whole entire ass would be, don't touch it, leave it alone, it's sensitive.
No, that's not me. It still needs to be smacked every. You still gotta smack it and do.
So okay, so I'm helping out some guy that's
exit only to be entered.
Oh, got you. Right. So I just helped out.
Fallacy.
Right. Okay, got you. So I just helped out some person that listens to the podcast for exclusively you and your life, right? Like they hit mute every time I talk. And so they do, I promise you they do, right? Like
they fast forward a little bit. They fast forward, they hit mute, they break up the voodoo dolls and stab it all up like, kitty die already. Not kitty die.
So
Jesus.
I mean, they wanna, they want to co-host. It's cool, it's not a problem. So look, I'm talking to some guy that has a major uber crush on you. She likes it rough on the cheek area, not the hole, but the cheek, because she takes shots.
You can grip it. You can definitely grip it. You can smack it, but that exit only does not want an entrance. The minute you go,
she like. So and how does that work out? Because you had. I'm sorry to cut you off. Look, so how does that work out that you have a coworker to actually? I prefer a stranger. You know what I mean? To even, go down that route. Like now. So, I would prefer a stranger. And speaking of, quick sidebar, right? It's crazy. I've been having the same doctor. Pardon me for 1 second.
Oh, there's sugar water.
Yeah. No, it's not even the water. It's just the coffee. Whatever. Look, so I've been having the same doctor for, G Monella Juice, 13 years, right? And my doctor is, like really attractive. Like Jesus. And so there's certain things I don't want to actually go to her or talk to her about because she's attracted. You know what I mean? It ain't gonna go nowhere. I'm married, right? And then she's a doctor. So like I'm married. She's a doctor. Like it ain't nothing happening. But there's just like certain things I don't want to, like we're not talking. We're just not. Like, send me someplace else. So I guess my question to you is, how do you have a coworker that you like and then you interact with and you just drop trowel and just let them poke you in your butt? Like, how does that work out? Does that make that uncomfortable once I get done?
No, she's a nurse. I mean, she does what she does every day. I mean, this nurse in particular is our occupational health nurse. So, I mean, she's had to examine me before. She had to do my pee test. She'd do my drug test, rather. She's had to draw my blood, for the TB scare and all that kind of stuff. So I'm quite comfortable with her. But I don't know exactly who figured out that you could get it in your butt cheek. The thing of it is,
some pervert, I promise you, it had nothing to do with medical reasons. Some nasty old man,
it was one of the girls. It was one of the girls, but they had found out.
So you act like, stop, right. Well, shit, you act like a girl can't be a pervert.
It's got to be a man. You making it sound like it's got to be a man. It doesn't.
It could have been both. It could have been a perverted man and woman. Who knows?
There you go.
Yes. Let's tell him it's more effective if it's in their doggone butt cheek.
Well, everybody has their shtick. And so it hurts less, honestly. Normally, when you get the flu shot,
it hurts less because you got all that ass back there. So like on your arm is still right. So like let's keep it a buck. It don't hurt less because it's in a different place.
In the actual okay, so let's be politically correct or as anatomically correct. It's not in the cup of the cheek. It's not. It was more like
in the meat part, right? The bubble.
It's above the cheek, so it was kind of like between the hip and the actual butt, where the butt starts.
The muscle, yeah. Okay, I got you.
So the thing is, when you get it in your arm, especially when you're working in ER and you're trying to sleep and all those kind of things, it hurts. Your arm is sore. Of course, it's not god awful, but I will say this. I got it the same day. The same day I got it, normally your arm starts to hurt and all those kind of things. And when you're sleeping, you're tossing, you're turning, you land on it and it kind of is a little sore. It's annoying. And then the next day it kind of hurts like hell. Well, the thing is this, I got it in my butt cheek and I completely forgot. The only reason I actually remembered I got the shot is when I went to go take a shower, I ran my hand along my back and I was like, what the hell is that on my hip? It was the Band-Aid. Yeah. And I was like, the fuck is that? And I was like, what is that? And of course, I'm flying the shower curtain open. I'm like, oh, dummy. It's your Band-Aid. So I pulled the Band-Aid off, obviously, and threw it out. But I really didn't feel anything. And two, I'm a stomach sleeper. But I mean, honestly, I never felt it. So,
your future husband is going to love that information. And
yes,
I'm a stomach sleeper. Yes. Read into that what you will. I'm a stomach sleeper. Wink, wink, hint, hint.
Hint, hint, wink, wink. Hint, hint, wink, wink. Can I do my what the fuck news now?
That wasn't it?
No.
I'm sorry.
I'm not what the fuck news yet. I'm not that popular yet.
No. When people get to know the true you, I promise you, your whole life is what the fuck.
It will be. It will be.
Like,
it will be.
No.
I'm bringing myself, yes, ladies and gentlemen, I'm bringing myself back to what the fuck news. Yeah.
Right.
It will be a daily thing. So, nope. This one is the New Yorker suspends writer Jeffrey Toobin for showing penis during the Zoom call.
What?
Yeah. So
was it intentional?
Yeah. The New Yorker star writer and CNN chief legal analyst Jeffrey Toobin.
Chief legal.
Mm-hmm.
He was giving y'all a ruler.
Legal beagle, literally.
Right.
Exposed himself in a Zoom call and has now been suspended from the magazine as of Monday. The incident happened during an online meeting between magazine's colleagues and WNC workers last week. His response was, I made an embarrassingly stupid mistake believing I was off camera. I believed I was not visible on Zoom. I thought no one was on the Zoom call and can see me. Although I had muted the Zoom video, I apologize to my wife, friends, family, and coworkers. He has been since suspended, like I said, until the investigation is over. And he could not be reached for further comments.
My kind of guy. Like,
so flasher.
I mean, I got a couple in my family. So he's my kind of guy. No, but I'm just trying to sit here and think, how can that really be, an honest mistake? And then, if you've been in the DMV area and you old like me, we used to have a newscaster. He's no longer with us, by the name of Jim Vance. And Jim Vance was like an average tennis player. Like, he played tennis all the damn time. So he would play tennis right up to the time it was time to get on the air. Of course, he'd go to, prep his, whatever his news stories he's covering. But, he would leave there and then jump in the chair and then go live. But on the top, he looks professional. He got the button-up shirt, he got the tie, he got the jacket, cool. But underneath him and whatnot, all he had on was, his tennis shorts and tennis shoes. Like, that's all he had. But he was underneath the desk. So I said that to say, then if that's the case, then because some people will be just top visible and they're professional that way, and underneath, right, it's whatever. So I can see how that would be a mistake. Now, from the article, it's never been determined whether he had pants on and was getting undressed walking away. That's acceptable too, right? But if he didn't have, if he didn't, if he was just stood up and he already knew his situation, or if he started wanking, after he cut it off, to me, yeah, take it. At the, because somebody said something to piss him off. And so he was like, oh man, forget y'all, cut it off. And he thought he cut it off. Yeah, take it. Yeah. So, we don't know exactly what happened because that was a pretty generic apology, right? And then the story itself doesn't lend much to the apology. It wasn't like went into detail to let it know like that. How could that have been a mistake? But if if it was intentional, man, stand on your ground. Like, if you want to be free, it's all right. You know what I mean? Just tell them the boys need some air. You know what I mean? You was kind of chafed down there. And, you had the doggone powder on your balls. And you're like, it's all right.
Not the powder.
Yes, the powder on your, was it the gold bond? He had the gold bond on the nuts. Like, he ain't do nothing wrong. Give that man a pass. And then the thing is, the magazine is probably erring, if I said it correctly, on the side of caution, because hopefully they suspended him with pay pending further investigation. So what they're going to do is going to take a sample of his balls. And if he had any of the gold bond powder on his balls, then he'd get a pass. The boys need some air. You know what I mean? It's just,
that's the
let that man live, man. Say again?
That's the old man pass.
I mean, he old. And then, so shit happened. But my thing is, this what makes me ask the question: why is it always guys that's getting caught crazy? Now, granted, there's been so if you ever be on any social media, right? And it's sad. This is so sad, but funny as fuck. So kids will be, doing the homeschool, and then their parents will forget and walk in the room naked. And the kids be looking like, oh God, I want to curl up and die. How could you do this to me, mom?
Right.
I mean, like, so you got to be really careful about, the day and age that we're living in. And then you just got to, take precautions to like not let the world see, you in your birthday suit, unless it's intentional, right? And if it is intentional, once again, they have an OnlyFans, you need to start an OnlyFans for that. People will pay, I'm sure there's somebody out there that would love to pay my man because, he's a journalist, and from a legal aspect at that, right? So it's safe to say he's pretty, educated. So, you can read some doggone, court cases in your birthday suit, get paid.
What does JT say? As long as I got my suit and tie.
Or lack thereof. So, it is what it is. I can't knock my man hustle. How do you see that as being a mistake? Or what scenario could you put that in so it can be, that could have happened that way?
Listen, the man's a nudist. Clearly. My thing is this. We all doing Zoom calls. You and I have done them, with guests and clients and things like that. So, you and I are very t-shirt and jeans type people. Well, I'm t-shirt and jeans, you're t-shirt and basketball shorts. And so, we both have, our logo business stuff on. And I remember the one time you were like, can you go change your shirt? And I'm like, the fuck? I'm like, we talking about NL Publishing business. I got my NL Publishing t-shirt on and I got to go change. You're like, yeah, just go change your shirt. I'm like, for what? I'm like, dog, I have been in this shirt all day. At this point, it was like trying to limit contact, limit how many times you change your clothes. And I'm like, I gotta go change my shirt for what? You're like, it just look more professional as you come to the meeting with your NL Publishing hat turned backwards. I'm just gonna throw it out there.
I don't understand the whole, you need to calm down and less sugar in your life, right? Less sugar.
Coffee creamer. It's the coffee creamer. I'm trying to tell you.
What's nothing but more flavored sugar? Hush your face.
Right.
So yeah.
So my thing is,
go ahead.
People, how you're supposed to show up, and I think depending on your comfortability with them and things like that, like I just think he was like, it's my colleagues. I'm not gonna really worry about it. I'm just gonna sit here. And then, like you said, he quote unquote forgot. Like he really thought it was off. Which again, I don't understand. If you don't leave the meeting, how you think you're not there. Because Zoom is pretty, user friendly, whether you're on your phone or you're on your computer. If you didn't leave, why would you stand up or why would you do anything? Because you're still sitting there looking at the computer or your phone. You can clearly see that.
So therefore, it was intentional. Is what you're saying?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. I try to give my man the benefit of the doubt. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So he wanted to show people his 2 to 3 inches. It is what it is, man. Flash's world, like he say, I guess he was like, "Fuck it, we all gonna die. I'm going out naked."
The same way he came in is the same way he going out.
The same way, right? But like, like just people, like just you got to be mindful. And then if you're not going to be mindful, just stand on your shit. But in his case, because it is his job, it is his livelihood. Of course, he's going to backpedal and off all the excuses as well. He should, right? But yeah, like that couldn't, like I don't know. My thing is just close the computer down, like just pull it all the way down, and therefore all accidents can't happen because your computer is shut, and then you're gonna stand up, walk around, reattach the doggone clothespins to your nipples. A lot of shit you can do once
it's not clothespins.
What is it?
They're called nipple clamps.
No. When you can afford nipple clamps, it's called clothespins. Don't correct my freak. Don't correct my freaky ass.
Ask Nikki how much Pure Romance has made since COVID. I promise you, somebody bought nipple clamps.
Man, shit, Nikki's team hit 100K. My wife manages, shout out to her. She manages 100K team, and they acquired that. Yeah, they acquired that in a couple of months. So you're right, because of COVID. And not only that, but she's been putting in the work. So all that COVID, her putting in the work, it's all coming to a head. So shout out that. But the sex industry is booming. But back to my man, and it is what it is, and that's just with anybody, man. Just close the joint. And then whatever you want to do after that, do that. But just make sure it's closed. If it's closed, whether you, left the meeting, whether you muted, it doesn't even make a difference because it's closed. So it's not picking up anything anyway. So that's just my little bit of advice to my man. And I also need gold bonds to cut a check because I name dropped them as well.
And Keenan Ivory Wayans had the same thing happen to him too.
No. That was intentional. He was sitting there. I seen that. Was told me a joke.
that was not definitely intentional.
He got it with his wrinkled ass. I'm like, really, Keenan? Like, no, I don't want to see you. You know what I mean? Definitely want to see your sister
I'm
either.
gonna get you, sucker.
No, nobody want to see. If you don't sit you. Oh Jesus, I'm ruined. I could never watch a living. I could never watch.
He was
right. I could never watch a living color again with a straight face. Like what? Oh man, I seen the dude naked. That's just nasty.
Right. You've seen all his ass.
Right, like there's certain things you just don't want to see, right? Like I don't want to see your ass. Yeah, I mean, show me because like J-Lo used to be one of the dancers on that show, correct?
Yeah.
Right. Oh, well, let's have you. Shit, let's see J-Lo ass. Like
haven't y'all seen it enough in this life?
Well, actually, I'm not a fan of hers either. I just threw it out there because she's on the show. I'm just, I'm sorry.
No. Okay. So the update. So I'm in a good place. I can't complain. I'm like you. I can't complain. God is really, I feel like God is kind of having fun with me in a good way. God is kind of like, keep playing with me, Kay. Like, keep playing with me and I'm going, work some things out. Like, God's working some things out really in my behalf, but how quickly it happens is kind of like shocking to me. And I'm not really sure why, because, that's like what your faith is built on, that God does things on his time, not our time. And so what I wanted to discuss with the podcast or bring to the podcast listeners, I should say, is that I kind of witnessed this moment between my parents. And it kind of led me down this rabbit hole. And then when I kind of came out the rabbit hole, I was like, oh, okay. And then it's kind of like life has just kind of like been speeding up progressively in a good way. So on my birthday, my dad decided to gift me, I guess, if you want to say, a business. He and I started a business together. Is pretty much what it was. And so hence why we were talking about the website, a couple of weeks ago.
Please don't remind me. Please do not remind me about Don.
Right. Don is his website. And so, in the process of doing that, where we live has really great benefits for minorities. And so I have to constantly prove, what I am, what I'm not. And so my dad was like, hey, can you give me your passport? And I'll take it down to the minority business thing because his time obviously has been more flexible than mine. So I said, yeah, I'll put it on the table. Well, I thought by the time I was going to get dressed for work, I beat him down the stairs and I would cut my mother off at the pass where they would not see each other. Now, my parents are divorced. They have been divorced since 2001. We are now sitting in 2020. Well, I didn't beat my dad down the stairs because I was messing with my hair. Go figure. Or I was doing something upstairs. But either way, I've pretty much.
It was your hair. It was your hair.
It was my hair. It was, yeah. I was
Don't clean it up.
fixing the curls. Yeah, I was cleaning the curls, making sure they were drying in the right place. So I can hear him yelling from downstairs, but I can tell he's not in the house. I don't know why particularly I could feel by his voice projection that he wasn't in the house, but he wasn't. So the thing is, my dad was kind of standing off to the side. Now, what's funny is when I first bought the house and was doing all the renovations, he would be here all the time. All the time. He would come in whenever he wanted, left when he wanted. And, even after the house, I moved in, he was still here. Like, he would come over, he'd eat, he'd leave. He was cool. So on this particular day, he was kind of like standing off to the side of the front door. And my mom was trying to like engage him, but he really wouldn't like take the bait. And I'm like, dude, you're normally flirty, rah, rah, rah. And it was kind of like in that moment that I was trying to like watch, I felt like I was on the outside looking in. And it dawned on me, like, my dad is really over my mom. And she potentially is not. Like, she's still in her mind, I think, is just like, I'm the best thing that ever happened to him, which could very well be true. But she was kind of doing like this dog and pony show. And I felt this is so terrible to have to equate this to this, but this is what I was thinking of. My aunt has a Shih Tzu, a Pomeranian Shih Tzu. And when the dog has not seen me in a while and I go over to the house, the dog dances in this circle on her back legs. And she does it for a long time until like I give her a treat or something. And in that moment, I felt like that was what my mom was doing, was acting like my Aunt Dutch's dog, like doing this like little like dance for him. And my dad just wasn't taking the bait. And in that moment, I was just like, oh my God, like, God, how many women do this? Like, how many women like have some residual whatever, like not animosity, not love, but just have like that like residual emotion towards their ex, not really realizing like, dude don't want you no more. Like, dude is over it. Like, the fun and games is over. We're divorced. We're done. It's a wrap. And in that moment, I was like, oh, do I do this, God? Like, is this like a trained behavior? Is this something that I do and I don't know it? And it bothered me all day. And all day I kept talking to God, even while I was at work. And when I got home, I had some stuff to do for the podcast, just catching up on work stuff between, for our business. And I really couldn't focus because I was so like pent up on it. And I really sat there and took the time, like turned off all the lights. I think I had like maybe like 2 on, because normally if I'm up, I have everything on. I have like every kitchen light, every light downstairs, every light halfway upstairs on. And I really just kind of dimmed all the lights. And I sat there and I kind of sat in my shit. And I was like, God, you know, if I am holding on to the theory that I'm the best thing that ever happened to my exes, and some of my exes are married, some of them are not. I said, I don't want to be this person. I don't want to have this trained behavior, to do this like dance or this dog and pony show for anybody. Like, I only want what you have for me. So if at this point, this is trained behavior that is on the inside of me, God, I release it. Like, I release all my exes, whatever I feel for them. If I have not forgiven them and I just am not like unconscious of it, like, let it go. So that was like Tuesday. So Wednesday, I told you guys that, you know, I kind of inadvertently had shot my shot at this guy. Well, he and I had been talking. We didn't talk for a hot second. He came back and was like, yo, I need to talk to you. And I'm like, really, you know, blasé about it. I'm like, about what? Like, for what? Like, if you can ghost me or, you know, be MIA, like he was like liking pictures on Instagram or something like that, then, you know, it's really not that serious for me. And I kind of felt like, God was kind of like, okay, you think you let it go? Well, now I'm about to prove this point to you. So alkaline water was in my inbox. Talking about, hey, big head. And he's still, you know, off and on, but then I don't give it much energy if I respond at all. Like I said, the guy that I inadvertently had shot my shot at was like, I need you in my life. I need this. I need that. And I'm like, okay, what does that look like? What does that mean? So he tells me, and I said, listen, for me, and I can't speak for anybody else, I can only speak for me. Communication, effective communication, is the bare minimum of a relationship. I don't care if it's a personal relationship or a professional one. At the end of the day, communication is the bare minimum. That's the least you can do, because you said you wanted to be with me. I said, your communication sucks. So I said, if you can really think or really, really try, to get better at your communication, then it's a go. So he said, yeah. It didn't land. That was Wednesday. That didn't make it until Saturday morning. Saturday morning, I texted him happy sweetest day. He was out of town and didn't hear anything from him till like Sunday afternoon. And I just ignored his text messages. And then when I got ready to respond, I responded. Well, that's not the joke. That's not where God got real funny. On Saturday afternoon, I'm at work, minding my business. And I get a text message from an ex. And it's not like my family and I have a joke about him. So it's not any ex. It's the ex. It's the one that in my mind, we always say it's the one that got away or the one I let go. It's pretty much how they say it. His family says the one that he let get away, and the one I say I let go. And so he was like, I have a question for you. And he was like, hey, can I take you to dinner? I was like, sure. And then I said the $1 million question. Why? Why do you want to go? Like, we haven't seen each other in a decade. Probably haven't talked in, I can't tell you how long. Like, why now? And so he had tried to commit suicide on my mom's birthday. And I reached out to him, and he really wasn't that into it. Because again, suicide is always going to be a trigger for me. And so we ended up, talking Saturday and going down memory lane and whatnot. We actually have not gone out to dinner. We did have a day planned, but it didn't happen. But it was just like life was kind of becoming full circle. And I was just like, okay, God, like I thought that like talking to him, I would have like some like residual something. Like my heart would beat really fast. I'd forget some words. And it really wasn't. It was just like talking to somebody that I've known my whole life, which I really have. I've known since I was in kindergarten. Obviously, I'm grown and out of college. But it was nice to reconnect with him to a certain degree. But in the same sense, it was just like, okay, God, joke's on me. I got it now. You still there? Did I lose you, DK?
No. You were.
It was a lot. It was a lot.
Right. Usually I had to put away my asshole part. Like, okay, she gone somewhere and then she keep talking about God. And so like, okay, like I favor God a lot. So let me not interrupt.
Don't do that today.
Right. Like I'll let you have your run. Right.
Right.
This episode will be DK Light. Karen has talked for the last 30 minutes about praying to God, and God was like, what? Like, why you bothering me? Right? Like, I'm creating this beautiful sunset over here and you pulling at my coattails. Be gone, poof.
Yeah, be gone, peasant.
Yes, be gone, peasant.
Be gone, peasant.
Right. So, okay, cool. You walked us through that. Now walk us through, because, we had a little, I guess, pre-production meeting as far as the podcast, and you was talking about soul ties. So you stopped talking there. I was waiting for you to tie that into the actual topic of today's podcast, which is do people believe in soul ties? And if they do, how they can contribute to the strength of them, and what can they do to, like, remove them from their lives? You never got to that point. That's why I was quiet. Don't worry about it. We'll talk off air. I'll be deducting something out of your pay. Who am I kidding? I'll work for you. But anyway,
I was just making sure you got real quiet. Like normally you'll say something, and I was like, did I lose you?
No.
So the thing is, like with me and him, we have great chemistry. We laughed all day Saturday. I've actually probably talked to him every day since. In a funny story, he called yesterday and he actually talked to my mom, which is a big thing because my mom's real tough. My mom is a tough cookie. She is going to defend this baby. I can't talk for my other sister, but she's going to defend this baby kind of tough. I always say it's because she's a little territorial because she lives with me. She's always been with me. So she doesn't want anybody else to have me. It's she's just very, I don't know how to explain it. She's very territorial. And so, he wasn't like my first boyfriend or anything like that, but he was really the one that I really kind of attached myself to. And like anything that he kind of did good, I celebrated. Anything he did bad, I kind of wanted to choke the life out of him. And so, yeah. So my thing with him is, I didn't want to bring him back into my life out of, what do you want to say? What do I want to say? Like out of obligation or, to our past. Cause I think that's crap. You don't have to have anybody back in your life unless you want them there. And so, I had talked to Dad Jr. about it, and I was like, listen, he's not ready for a relationship. I said, he might consider himself to be ready. Cause I don't understand how you try to, commit suicide a couple months ago. And now all of a sudden in middle of October, you ready to, blow the dust off your history. And then all of a sudden, oh, here I am. Nah, son, go sit down somewhere. But I didn't.
Stop. Because I am listening, right? That's being judgmental because your walk when you went through your bout of suicide differs greatly from his and anybody else's. You don't, right? So you can't make that assumption like when is a person ready to move on and then how severe them going through what they went through, right? Mm-hmm. So like you got to give them at least on that accord the benefit of the doubt. Like you don't know because it's not you. You can only speak about you, your experiences, and then your capability of bouncing back.
Right. But my thing is at the point where you get to the mental status of where you're going to take your life, and then obviously you have to turn the page. You have to forgive yourself. You have to move on. But I wouldn't necessarily think that starting a relationship or trying to fan the flames of an old relationship would be the best thing to do. That's just me.
Based on what? Like, would you like? Okay, well, first of all, thank God that the suicide wasn't successful, right? Right. That's the first thing. The second thing is, so here's the thing, right? Because I keep waiting for you to weave that into the whole soul tell about boy, and then so let's go ahead and peel the onion back with him and as it relates to you, and then you believing one thing when in my opinion, and granted just my opinion, you have no right to believe this thing, and this is what I mean, right? So you can't judge the strength of a person. You can't judge the blessings of a person, right? Because they're not you. You're not in their shoes. It's not you. So you're equating where he's ready at by you. Right. So you got to remove the lens, your lens out of your glasses, and then look at his situation through his lens. Right. And if you can't do that, then you have to just be open-minded to the situation. Right. Because granted, you asked God to not be the dancing puppy. And that was a cute story. If I was your mother, I'd probably pop in your fucking mouth. Like, you're not going to put my business on Front Street. We ain't that cool. Plus you ain't cut me. She doesn't
listen to podcasts anymore. So
it doesn't make a difference. I'm just saying me personally, you know what I mean? If I'm like, I might tell myself, like, you might need to listen to this episode. Your daughter dead ass wrong. I thought it was a funny story that, you equated your mother to a dancing, dog, but I can't judge because that's you and y'all relationship. But back to, homeboy, you don't know if he's ready. You don't know, he might have not been ready back then. He might be ready now. But until you actually put yourself in position to find that out, to have those questions answered, you'll never know. You'll just speculate based off you. And then anything based off of you or anybody else is one-sided. Like, until you get the full story from that person, or you give them enough interactions to find out what you believe to be true or not true, then Everything is the speculation, until you do that work.
Right. You're right. I'll give you that. My thing about a soul tie, and the whole reason I even brought my parents into this, is that I really feel like, as women especially, like when relationships are over, we don't have the best like closure mechanisms, or we're not taught like the best way to just let it go. Because I feel like guys, in a relationship, and they're more apt to move on quicker.
No. See, we I'm sorry, right? And we about to have a great podcast, I promise you. Because anytime we get on the opposite side of the coin, I promise you, I go in, and I'm like, I promise y'all, today is gonna be DK light. I'm not gonna go on my fake Eric Thomas. That's a lie. Just I'm gonna do my fake Eric Thomas rant. Just who I am. But look. So you women say that. And when y'all say we move on, like y'all keep thinking that because we're moving on, that we're having sex, that we have moved on. No. We still have needs. And we know that with y'all got to go through the whole, not all y'all. And I don't want to, be presumptuous and speak for every woman, but some women go through the whole emotional roller coaster. And so they'll do the emotional eating. They'll do the crying to the girlfriends. They'll do the boyfriend bashing. For the really psychotic ones, they'll, kill car, flat a tire. And then if you've seen the videos on social media, they'll actually try to blow up a Jeep and then, go to jail for it.
Oh, yeah.
Right. So, it's, can you say psychotic bitch? Yes, we can say psychotic bitch.
But some of us have been in that position and just don't want to tell the truth about it either.
Right. Well, I mean, but guys just go about it the other way. Like, but you do got some guys that act straight just like that. They gonna emo eat. They gonna be like, they gonna want to fight. They're gonna be, they gonna call you. They gonna blow up. So we got to start painting that picture that guys, we're so manly, beating our chests and doing the whole Tarzan thing, that we don't suffer. We do. Now, some guys, we suffer as we believe, and we're so dead ass wrong. The best way to forget the one is to go out and have a bunch of sex. But like, as soon as that, and it's kind of crazy because we started off the podcast talking about, ski. Goddamn. But as soon as the guy skeets, those memories come rushing back. And now he's looking like, why did I do that? Now he's feeling even worse than ever, because he's like, that was just it was just a Band-Aid on the bullet hole. And so we're trained to physically, whether it's physically, we're going to do something. And 9 times out of 10 is going to be sex. I want to, but you can't have sex to replace what's in your heart, because the sex is nothing but a release, right? If she meant something to you, then she's in your heart. She's ingrained into you. Then there's no way that just 1, 2, 3, 4, meaningless, romps in the bedroom is going to erase a person that was ingrained in your life. It's not going to happen. You know what I mean? So everybody think men and women have to do the due diligence and, take self-inventory first of all, right? And what I mean by that, ask that tough question, which is, what did I, not they, let me say this real slow, because we always think when something ends, it's the other person's fault. And if you only took your time out to take extreme ownership for your shit, right? Because we all play a part, whether we want to admit that or not, we all play a part. So you got to ask yourself, what did I do? For us to go left? Even if you was like almost picture perfect, it's always something that you did to contribute to this shit to go south, right? And then even if you were perfect and did nothing, maybe by you being perfect was the contributing factors in the shit going south, because nobody want to fuck with a perfect person anyway, right? So my advice to you and the listeners out there, speaking to the women listeners, like, don't just assume. Like, if you think that person is worth the effort, then, you owe it to yourself, right? Because evidently there has to be something there, on your behalf. If you had to pray about it, had to be something there. If you had to ask the question and tell yourself there's something, that it wasn't nothing there. Because if he clearly showed you without you speculating that nothing wasn't there, then from what it sounds like to me, you'd be all in. You'll be willing to find out. But Benzo, you were either hurt by his past actions, or he failed you because he didn't live up to whatever promise he's made to you. You automatically negated the chances of him doing so now. And that's a defense mechanism.
True. And we
y'all can say I got my Dr. Phil and Dr. Oz hat on today. This is what I'm doing today.
I think actually the turn of events would actually be very surprising to you and to listeners, because, a couple podcasts ago, I did say that, I have issues being vulnerable. A lot of emotions have come out Again, we've been talking every day since, so it's been 7 days straight that I've answered phone
7
calls.
whole days.
Hey, but I have heard from him. I did.
Too many words from you.
So the thing about it is, this is my thing that I really wanted to bring to the podcast is that, anytime you're intimate with somebody, anytime you're vulnerable with somebody, anytime that you have some sort of history with someone, you do create what is considered a soul tie. And
Do you believe that?
I do. Especially when you're intimate, because the thing is, I think when we're intimate, I'm about to tell you. I think it's when you're intimate, we're so concerned about sexually transmitted diseases that we never talk about the spirit transmitted diseases.
Through sex?
Yeah.
So, okay, right.
That's a sharing of energy. When he releases, you release. You take on bits and pieces of that person.
Okay, so explain to me how does that affect a person that's promiscuous? How does that affect prostitutes? How does that affect whoremongers, right? How does that affect, because if they're having, sex with different people, and I can answer this question, I plan on answering this question, but I want to ask you first. So I just, first of all, I apologize for interrupting, but I really wanted to capture this point. So if you're saying that if me and whomever have sex, then not only are we exchanging bodily fluids, that we're also exchanging, energy as well.
Yeah. Pieces of yourself. You can obviously be tied to more than one person. You can obviously have more than one soul tie. I mean, people are married, people have multiple partners, no matter what they are, if they're a prostitute or there's a hoish. I mean, it is what it is.
That's Mr. Hoish to you. That's Mr. Hoish. Like, put respect on my hoism.
Mr. Hoish to it.
Yeah, don't.
But at any point that you're going to open yourself up in any way, shape, or form, like, if I verbally am open to you, if I emotionally am open to you, if I'm physically open to you, I am creating a space for us to connect.
Right.
That's really
so
all a relationship is. Yeah. And it doesn't always have to be. And I said that it doesn't have to be.
Right.
But when you get yourself so wrapped up in somebody else, and that's why breakups are hard, because you really let this person in and you're so wrapped up in making them great and trying to progress yourself forward, that when it's over, it's the unknitting of your heart. Like, now I got to take back everything I put into you. Now I got to take back all the love, because it's like, I did all of this and now I'm ending up with nothing. And sometimes we feel like that's the loss. And I'm like, that's not necessarily true. Like, sometimes that L is actually a win. Like, let that toxic motherfucker go. Like, let that go be somebody else's motherfucking problem. Let them go try to fix that thing. Put the pieces back together for him with super glue and Gorilla Tape.
Damn, super glue and doggone Gorilla Tape. Let me peel this onion back. Here at the Love Is Podcast, we pride ourselves on being transparent. So with that being said,
and not just me being light skinned.
What? See, I ain't talking nothing about your skin. I ain't say nothing about your damn near white ass. Quite a few podcasts. And let's take it back. So before I even go down my rabbit hole, because there's a rabbit hole I'm going down, it'll be a short rabbit hole, right? Earlier you said that you hate anything like pumpkin spice, pumpkin anything, right? You got to be careful talking anti-pumpkin. They're going to come take your white card from you. I'm trying to save you, right? You about to lose your white privilege, right?
I haven't been to Starbucks in forever, so
it doesn't make a difference. I'm just saying they're going to take the card from you because it's a prerequisite. You know what I mean? To have that privilege, you got to like pumpkin, right? So be real careful. Look, so like, and the reason I had asked about having the multitude of partners and exchanging energy, because it's no secret. I am a recovering sex addict, struggling porn addict. And so I get that, right? I really get the whole energy boy. But I don't necessarily agree with the soul tie. I don't. And this is the reason why. I agree with, and it's going to sound like I'm being contradicting. So I'm going to need people to not hear me, but listen. Listening is paying attention. Hearing me is because your ears work. So here we go. Look, when you're creating space for a person and then you're giving energy, right? It's cool. So therefore you start to pick up habits. Now, if in my case, me being a whoremonger, whether it been from, prostitutes, one night stands, like girlfriends, whatever. I was like horrific in my behavior. You can, and here's a cheap plug for you can, pick up The Ugly Side of Sex, still available on Amazon.com to find out exactly how terrible I was. Now, I don't believe all these people, and it was during that span of my life, it was plethora of women, right? That I've, man, Jesus, Monella. You talking about Wilt Chamberlain had a run. Okay, I didn't have a Wilt the Stilt run, but damn it, I had a run. So I didn't necessarily believe that, we were connected in a certain way. Now, what I do believe, because my behavior had become habitual, right? It had nothing to do with me. And this is just me. I'm only speaking for me. It had nothing to do with, me being linked to this prostitute, me being linked to, the first wife, me being linked to the first trick. It's like, and all these people at the same time within 1 week or the same day, right? That bad. I know, right? It's just me giving that energy, right? And I formed that habit. So the habit went from, I gotta have it, right? So once I, reached a place in seeing how detrimental that was to me. It wasn't so much me being connected to them, it's me de-energizing, or even if that's a word, that habit, right? Now that's on the physical realm. Now we were talking about having a soul tie. It's like, okay, let's for instance, use me and you. It's safe to say that we're bonding. Mm-hmm. If you hear the chemistry, on the podcast, you're like, okay, you can tell they're more than just, they're really cool, right? They're cool because, he talked too much shit and she don't take a flight down to DC and beat his motherfucking ass and come back.
It's been threatened though. It's been threatened.
Yeah, mama ain't gonna have that. Ain't nobody beating her daddy but her. Look, but anyway, so it's not so much a soul tie, I would say, between me and the Thorny Chick. It's just the energy that I've allowed her. And I get this, I'm agreeing in some aspect, but it's not when you're holding on to a person and then once they're no longer in your life, y'all still have that. No. What it is like, you have to make peace that you may have fucked up. And so it's not a soul tie. It's that I've never just made peace that I fucked up. And so what happened, and going back to, the dancing lady, which was your mother, and then the indifferent man, which was your father, earlier on when you made that comment, shame on you. It was not so much that was a soul tie, that your father would just and then she just wanted to see if she still got it.
Right.
Like that's, I promise you, like it had nothing to do. She probably looked like, okay, he good. I remember when he was working with, no disrespect to your person. She probably was thinking, oh, he used to blow his back out. I promise you, no disrespect. And so women have egos too, right? So she probably like, okay, cool. Let me see if I still got it. And he probably thinking to himself, do you know how much I still fuck? You know what I mean? I don't even. So he's like, I don't even want it no more. Like I was like, what I'm fucking right now is like, nah, go ahead somewhere now. So you got to keep in mind, if he wasn't, I don't know, I'm just speculating. You can either confirm or deny the shit I'm about to say out my mouth.
I would confirm.
Right. So if he was not,
he's 60.
Right. So if he was in a drought, your mother be getting her back, bro. I promise you.
Don't traumatize me.
No. They just sit your grown ass in the movies. Hey, bye. Go somewhere. And your father
gonna put me out my own house.
At your own house, and your father will blew your mother back out. And it had nothing to do with soul ties. This is my opinion. It's just that she needed to see, do I still got it? And then women are so wrong for this. He would have bit, and then she'd have cut it off. Because it was just an ego thing for her. That's all it would have been. As soon as he'd have been, she'd be like, nah, I'm good. That's all right. I just want to see if you're going to jump through a hoop. And he's like, what? That's why I left your ass anyway. Right. So like, I get the connections, but when you start talking about soul ties, with like that gets so much deeper than a connection. A soul ties is like when a person just like, that the attraction is undeniable, and then everybody else can sense it as well. Even like, people that come after that person realize like, okay, he says he loves me. He says he's all in, but the part of him I can't connect to, because that connection belongs to somebody else. Mm-hmm. Now, to me, that constitutes a real live soul tie. Have I experienced that? Nah, I hate all my exes and not too fond of my current. Anyway.
Lord Jesus. And sometimes I think we get hooked up on terminology. A soul tie for me, I understand what you're saying. And this is why we bring things to the podcast. I said this to you the other day, is that, the place that we're in, I like where we are right now in the podcast. That we, like you said, we pride ourselves on being really transparent, and we really are. I mean, the more we go, the long, it's not, for me, it's not as apprehensive for me to bring things to the podcast. And so that situation, like I said, it triggers something in me. Soul tie, my whole thing is between you and I. Like, I don't want to get caught up on the terminology. I think being raised in church, that's what they taught us. So that's what I've always, just kind of connected the dots to. But and you just got to be careful, as to who you really, exchange not only bodily fluids with, but energy with, because facts. I feel like there's somebody out there who really is like, I really believe like I was the best thing that happened to him, but they can't let it go. And like you said, some of it is just ego. Some of it definitely is female ego. Like, I just want to know if I still can pull the string, pull the string and see if you dance.
That's all it is. It just, like, you have to understand, women, like, men, let's keep it a buck, right? We are toys to most women. I'm just like, it ain't nothing about, like, y'all can go ahead and tell me, man, I got so much game. Yeah, okay, only game you got is, when you play, NBA 2K. That's the only game you got. So, like, don't stop lying to yourself. You really don't got no game. I promise you, you don't got no pimp game. You don't got no, even if you believe that you're getting over on a woman, even if you are driving her car, eating up the doggone kids, doggone Lunchables, you know what I mean, while she's at work, you really don't got no games. You're just being tolerated. That's all. You're just being tolerated because it ain't like she don't see the bullshit. Right? Because what you're doing physically and emotionally doesn't match up what you have told her or is telling her, right? It don't match up. So now it's just tolerance on her behalf. So let's keep it a buck. We're just toys. That's all that we are. Now, granted, there's sometimes that you share a connection with a person that's so deep because it seemed like the energy was seamless. But then life goes on. And the only reason that you may believe that a soul tie still exists because you're still giving that connection energy with your thoughts, by you thinking woulda, coulda, shoulda, by you hoping, wishing, and praying like, God, if you could just take time out and shine favor on one of your children today. And just, if it's really there, God, expose it to me. But if it's not meant to be, God, please take this cross away from me, God. So a lot of that stuff, don't ask me where that came from. A lot of that stuff. I
literally was holding my cry. I was literally holding my laugh. But that was really pretty good, though. I give you that one. That was actually somebody. The thing of it is that is somebody's prayer. Like, in my mind, I'm like, somebody has hit their knees and prayed that prayer, Jesus, and I am not. And I was like, God is not pleased right now with neither one of us. Oh, Jesus. Lord God, help us.
But Lord. I'm just like, the only reason.
But it's true, though.
I'm so stupid. Like, Jesus, I got to stop drinking so much sugar in the morning time. Look, and it's the only reason because you're giving that person that don't give a fuck about you energy. And so you tell yourself it's this bond. It ain't a bond. You just keep feeding it with, you're wondering what could have happened. You keep, double tapping on their pictures on IG. You keep scrolling down memory lane on Facebook. So it's not the tie. It's the energy that if you took that same energy and then you focus it on, your current relationship, it's simple. This shit is not, it's not deep science. If you focus that past energy on the love that you fucked up and you focus that on your current relationship, if you're in one, I promise you'll see that person is like, ain't about nothing. Like, okay, cool. We had a great run. I fucked up. And you got to be honest with yourself. It ain't like they fucked up. If you fucked up, say it. We had a great one. I was the one that fucked it up. And I've learned that lesson. And that's where I'm at in my third marriage, right? Let me get my Steve Harvey on minus, being a millionaire. So I couldn't keep longing for past relationships. I couldn't keep longing for, the greatest sex or the wildest sex or the nastiest sex, the kinkiest sex. I couldn't keep longing for that. I had to take that energy and pour it into my current situation. And in my current situation, I've achieved more with her in this lifetime than I did with the previous two because I had to grow up. I had to mature and realize that, flowers only going to grow where you water it at. And the reason that those past relationships, those past longings, they're fertile because you'll give them energy. And as you give them energy, you'll give them water. They're growing. And while you're doing that, your current situation is dying. So you really need to go all in, even when they get on your fucking nerves, even when you want to push their ass down the motherfucking steps because it doesn't even make a difference. You still pour all of you into them, not worrying about the outcome. You can only worry about what you can control. You can't control. But if I'm doing right, if I'm loving you, and then you keep saying, if I, it doesn't make a difference. It's not even about them. It's about you being the best version of you towards them. They got two options after that. Either they will fall in line because like, he's really trying. Like he's really into me, or they can keep being, the selfish person that they is. And so by you being the best version of you, you're just getting ready for the relationship that's your next relationship, right? That's all you're doing. So make the situation about you, not them. And as you evolve, grow to being the best person that you can be, like it's a win-win for the person in your life. Like, and if it's not the current person, somebody right around the corner, I promise you, is praying for you. They ain't even praying for a full good man. They're praying for a half good man. And you just got to be a decent dude. And you're the answer to somebody's prayers.
Amen.
Let the church say amen.
And amen. Well, this normally would be where I pass off the baby to, but I felt like that last nugget was really it. Like that.
Yeah.
That was the Love Jones.
That was the Love Jones.
That was the Love Jones. That was really good.
Look, I'm about to start. Look, okay.
You gonna start charging again?
I'm gonna start. I'm giving away too much good. Nah, I'm not gonna never charge. We ain't gonna never. Okay, first of all, let me never say never. Okay?
Right.
Let me never say that. But nah, I just be coming from the heart. You know what I mean? I've been around the block a couple of times, and I don't mind sharing my fuck ups so nobody have to go through what I went through. And that's all this is, man. It's just like we've been given things. Like, so when Karen had, spoke of, going through her bouts of, dealing with suicide, right? With me going through my bouts of being molested as a kid. And then on top of that, being, fucked up sexually, right? We don't say this because we're just either doing one or two things. We're sharing this information, so hopefully helping somebody not to go through it. But if somebody is going through it, to let them know that you're not alone. Shout out to Michael Jackson, right? So you're not alone. That's the reason why we give you all of us, right? Shout out to John Legend, right? So that's the reason why we do what we do.
Facts. Listen, you can't be so sensitive when, you've been cheated on. The last podcast got cheated on got cheated on with a crackhead. And now, having another ex circle back. I will say this. A couple podcasts ago, we were talking about, it's hard for me to be vulnerable. And with him, it's really not. I don't know what's going to happen with that.
Sound like you making plans.
My dad said that. Daddy Jr. said, it sounds like the king is trying to find his queen or getting ready to.
Oh, Jesus.
And I was like, oh my God. I was like, Daddy. I was like, you're drinking the Kool-Aid. I was like, Daddy. Listen, well, Daddy Jr. is different. Daddy Jr. is, all black love. I mean, Daddy Jr. has been married since I was 5. So, and I'm 37 now. So, he's always going to promote that. But he was really proud of the progression of me. He said, listen, you saw him with your spirit eyes. You really poured into him some really great information. And
Jesus,
really? I did. The conversation is really, really good.
What are you, Indian?
Yeah, actually, my mother is a West Indian.
Oh, Jesus. You're not one of them black people. I'm some of everything. I'm a mutt.
No, I'm not. That's not me.
We all stop. There's no original. Look, Hitler. There's no original man. Oh, right? We all are mutts. We all got something crossed in us.
Well, yeah, my dad's black. My mom's, is a West Indian.
Right. And you just
both out of Jamaica. What do you want from me?
You part ghost with your pale ass. Anyway, close us out.
Lord. This is your girl, Seth Thorny Chic here in KK Rose. Again, I cannot thank you guys enough for listening to us week after week. These last 2 podcasts, I've gotten really personal, let y'all really into my business. I can't tell you what the road up ahead for my personal life looks like. We'll see where love leads. This is your girl, Thorny Chic here in KK Rose. You guys are taking my voice places my feet have yet to travel alongside my co-host, DK Walker. Tell him bye-bye. Why?
Why what?
Tell the listeners goodbye. Tell them to have a good day.
And I think we need to change the ending because, I keep feeling as though you're talking to a little boy. Like, DK, tell the people bye-bye. Like, you got it, like you hold your son by his hand. DK, tell the people bye-bye. Oh, DK, can't you be nice? They gave you fruit cups and snacks. You ain't gonna tell the people bye-bye? Man, y'all have a blessed day, man.
This episode of the Love Is podcast has ended. But please be sure to subscribe for more great content on sex, entrepreneurship, life, love, and how to get through the BS of it all. And don't forget to rate and leave a review so we can continue to bring more of that thorny chick, Karen KK Rose. And, dare I say, the lovable a-hole, Mr. DK Walker. See you on the next podcast.